In Episode 3, Obi-Wan and Yoda's plan to defeat the Sith is unfolded rather quickly. As Obi-Wan discovers, it was Anakin who led the attack on the Jedi Temple, having fallen to the dark side to become Darth Sidious's new apprentice. He begs Yoda to allow him to be the one to confront Sidious, believing he would be unable to confront and kill Anakin. However, as Yoda would bluntly put it, Obi-Wan wasn't strong enough to face Sidious, and therefore, the task of confronting Vader had to fall to Obi-Wan, while Yoda would face the Dark Lord of the Sith alone. But the development of this plan leads to a number of questions, chief among them being why Yoda and Obi-Wan wouldn't just confront Sidious together as a way to give themselves the best chance to kill the Dark Lord, and then possibly turn their focus upon Vader once the Sith Master was dead. Such a plan has so many moving variables and is reliant on too many assumptions to immediately conclude that that would have been a better plan in hindsight. But the importance here is that it would seem that by having both Jedi confront Sidious, they must have had a better chance of succeeding against him than Yoda alone. Fortunately, I believe a rather simple answer exists within the Legends lore to explain why Yoda rejected the possibility that both him and Obi-Wan would confront Darth Sidious, which is revealed in the Episode 3 novelization. The novel is great in this regard because it shows that Obi-Wan and Yoda had far more knowledge about the power and actions of Sidious than you would first assume watching only the film. In the Revenge of the Sith novel, during the formulation of the Jedi plan to defeat the Sith, Obi-Wan of course still forcibly states his desire to confront Palpatine, wanting nothing to do with the possible outcome of having to kill Anakin. And also in line with the film, Yoda tells Obi-Wan that he isn't strong enough to face Lord Sidious, going further by explicitly stating the act of confronting Sidious had to be his alone. But the novel then goes deeper here, explaining why the two Jedi didn't simply both go and challenge Sidious together while they were both on Coruscant, revealing that Obi-Wan and Yoda had some knowledge of what occurred between Sidious and the four Jedi that attempted to arrest him. Obi-Wan began to worry less about his own confrontation with Anakin and more about the safety of the Jedi Grandmaster. As Obi-Wan explained, Palpatine faced Mace and Agen and Saesee, four of the greatest swordsmen our Order has ever produced, by himself. Even both of us together wouldn't have a chance. To which Yoda replies without any hesitation, "True, but both of us apart, a chance we might create." Therefore, within the novelization, Obi-Wan and Yoda did actually consider the possibility of both of them confronting Sidious together. But believing that Sidious was able to defeat the four Jedi who attempted to arrest him, including Mace Windu, who arguably had the best chance against the Sith Lord given his lightsaber abilities and powerful Vapad combat form, Yoda and Obi-Wan understood that simply increasing the number of Jedi against Sidious wouldn't guarantee or really even alter their chances of victory. Sidious had brought down Mace and three of the Order's greatest lightsaber practitioners that ever lived, and the combination of Yoda and Obi-Wan wouldn't have exceeded the strength which would have been brought against the Dark Lord by the four that attempted to challenge Sidious before them. Knowing Mace couldn't do anything to protect Kit Fisto, Agent Kolar, and Saesee Tiin against the power of Sidious, Yoda concluded that Obi-Wan wouldn't have increased their chances of victory and would very likely fall in the duel if he was to join him. Therefore, as Yoda concludes in the novelization, Obi-Wan wouldn't be beneficial at all in a confrontation with Sidious, but apart challenging Vader, they would at least have some chance to defeat the Sith, perhaps creating some glimmer of hope where it appeared the odds were already very much against them. But there's also more going on here than just Obi-Wan and Yoda's knowledge that Sidious had slaughtered the four Jedi previously. I discussed it in detail in a video looking at why Sidious appeared to attempt to run and avoid a duel with Yoda in Episode 3, which I'll link to down in the description below, but the knowledge that Obi-Wan was the Jedi who was going to confront Vader on Mustafar extremely worried Sidious once he figured it out. And as revealed in the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader, although Sidious hadn't foreseen Vader's defeat on Mustafar, in retrospect, having considered the challenges Obi-Wan presented and the vulnerabilities of his apprentice at the time, Sidious wasn't surprised at all that the Jedi Master would defeat Vader. In having full knowledge of the situation that Sidious lacked initially, I believe Yoda would have also been confident in Obi-Wan's abilities against Vader. As Yoda would boast to Sidious in the novel, when the Dark Lord seemed confident Vader would dispatch his former master on Mustafar, so easily slain Obi-Wan is not. Although Yoda believed Obi-Wan wasn't strong enough to challenge the Dark Lord of the Sith, I think the Grandmaster knew, as Sidious would later realize himself, that Obi-Wan's chances against Vader were exceptionally high, and therefore, it just made sense that Obi-Wan should confront Vader rather than needlessly waste his life on Sidious. Lastly, in considering why Yoda and Obi-Wan didn't confront Sidious together in Episode 3, I think it's necessary to say something about Yoda's point of view regarding his chances and efforts against Sidious. As we discussed, Yoda knew Sidious was powerful, and if Obi-Wan would have joined him, not only would Obi-Wan not have helped him defeat the new Emperor, but there would be nothing Yoda could do to save Obi-Wan. A similar helplessness Mace experienced with the other 3 High Council members. However, even knowing this, Yoda still believed he had a legitimate chance of defeating Sidious without Obi-Wan's help. When he told Obi-Wan in the novel that apart they might create a chance to defeat the Sith, he meant it, meaning that when he confronted Sidious, he believed he had a chance. The novelization leaves no doubt of this by revealing the exact moment when Yoda realized he didn't have a chance in surviving his confrontation with the Dark Lord. This realization by Yoda only came once the lightsaber duel erupted between the Jedi Grandmaster and the Sith Lord. Only after Yoda was able to look deeper into the struggle of the light versus the dark, the Jedi versus the Sith during their prolonged lightsaber duel, did he have to acknowledge he couldn't defeat Sidious, and that no matter the strength of his will or commitment to the light, the Sith would emerge victorious. Therefore, I think we can make 3 important conclusions for this question based upon the Episode 3 novel. First, as understood by Yoda and Obi-Wan at the time, Sidious had already killed 4 of the Order's best lightsaber duelists, and so it gave them no confidence to consider 2 Jedi being better than just 1, even when the combination would be Yoda and Obi-Wan. It was better to give themselves a chance by having Obi-Wan confront Vader. Second, Yoda was confident in Obi-Wan's abilities to defeat Vader, which of course turned out to be true, but which was also feared and later accepted as being unsurprising by Sidious as well. And finally, Yoda was completely confident in his own chances to defeat Sidious, despite the fact that he was fully aware of the Dark Lord's abilities, and it wasn't until the duel erupted between them that Yoda would come to accept that he would never be able to defeat Sidious alone. For these reasons, it makes sense why Yoda and Obi-Wan wouldn't confront Sidious together in Episode 3. So there we have it, why both Yoda and Obi-Wan didn't challenge Sidious together in Revenge of the Sith. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can find a link to it in the description below, along with all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... For learning lessons the hard way.